Hello. Today we will offer to all of you our market analysis report for Hydra's entry into Colombia. With a combined team effort of both study and field research, we come ready to present the necessary strategy and benefits of expanding our offerings for our Colombian market and strengthening our business stake into Latin America. As the title suggests, El agua es vida, or water is life, and Hydra will deliver this. We are Hydra, and we offer the best-in-class innovation of mobile and cost-effective solutions for the treatment of oil-filled water stemming from drilling, production, and processing of hydrocarbons. As one of the 16 product lines owned and operated by ONG Services, our large-scale multinational enterprise, the mothership, we already have an 80-year-long history and presence in Colombia. Our newest product, the Dual Technology Trailer, or DTT for short, has a proven record of operation in the Permian and other oil-producing basins in the U.S. After our success there, it is time to expand. Colombia is a vibrant and growing country that is mostly untapped for its economic potential. Colombia has an extremely diverse cultural makeup, including European, African, Caribbean, Middle Eastern, and Native American influences. Early Spanish culture is the most dominant influence to help shape Colombian society. The culture of the country has evolved and developed over the last 200 years to become something entirely unique. Colombians are generally very happy, outgoing people who value social interactions. Family is also a very important part of life. Geographically, Colombia is varied, diverse, and beautiful. Situated at the junction between Latin America and North and Central America, Colombia is centrally located in the Western Hemisphere. Here you get the best of all worlds, from the Andean mountains and valleys, the Caribbean coasts and beaches, the eastern plains and tropical rainforests, and of course the growing urban cities. Colombia became an oil exporter in the mid-1980s and is still heavily dependent on that commodity. Colombia exports about half of its production, most of it to the United States, and in 2017, oil and derivatives accounted for 28% of their total exports. Through our research, we know that Colombia's oil production and export rates are particularly important because of their fiscal implications, which cut across several economic dimensions. Oil and gas price volatility can impact Colombian GDP. For example, due to international oil pricing issues, the Colombian economy lost some momentum in the second quarter of this year after experiencing the fastest growth pace in over 3 years. Even with this dependency, Colombia's GDP is projected to grow 3.1% in 2019 and 3.2% in 2020. Focus economics panelists also predict economic growth to further pick up this year on the back of robust domestic demand. In particular, investment activity is seen gathering pace amid increased outlays in infrastructure and oil industry projects, while consumer spending is expected to remain strong. As GDP increases within an economy, energy consumption almost always increases at a similar rate. Without the ability to support increasing energy needs, economic growth will be stunted. Colombia is addressing this deficit and making progress. The Ministry of Mines and Energy of Colombia reported that oil production increased 3.3% for the month of May compared to the same month in 2018. Another subsequent impact to increased oil production is more quickly maturing oil-producing fields. As the producing fields mature, the water content at the wells increase. Currently in Colombia, the average water content per barrel produced averages 65%. This means that for every 100 barrels of fluid produced, 65 are water and only 35 are crude oil. The current installed base of traditional treatment plants are also nearing capacity, while the water content continues to increase. In addition to all of this, there's also strong regulatory pressure towards operating well sites in a cleaner manner and reducing environmental impacts. These three key reasons, energy sufficiency, fiscal capacity, and water content increase, are what continues to drive Colombian public and private investment and support in their country's oil production. The country is vested in both increasing exploration activities to secure further reserves and as well as maintaining production levels at the current average, which hovers around 1 million barrels per day. This is indeed a market ripe with opportunity for an innovative product with a strong value proposition, such as with our Hydra DTT. The past few slides focus on the current cultural, geographical, and economic conditions in Colombia that make introduction of our DTT a no-brainer. So why Hydra DTT? ONG Hydra can leverage and trust their wide global footprint and know-how of over 100,000 employees in over 80 countries in tackling the deployment of new service and products to target regions. We understand the significance of diversifying our products and services with strategic global growth. The Hydra DTT product is aimed at expanding the sales portfolio of ONG services in a strategic move to enhance our core competencies and position not only the product line, but also the entire organization for continued and sustainable growth in one of the strongest emerging economies in Latin America. Our key international strategy is to leverage our established ONG and Hydra global presence. We have successfully operated with a hub strategy and transnational structure with multiple regional hubs throughout the world. Our different subsidiaries and diverse portfolios allow us to elevate and attract local talent pools. Cultural intelligent managers are a result of our formal cultural awareness training and global assignments. Our global network allows us to develop great global local leaders. Even with the research for this proposal, we relied on boots-on-the-ground Hydra managers to complete the appropriate cultural risk and economic assessments in Colombia. This is our formula, and it works. And coupled with our DTT line, our competitive advantage can continue to expand. Our Hydra DTT will be the product that supports Colombia's oil and production growth needs and overall efficiency. We will market the product as a necessity to improve increased production and capital expenditure cost savings. Our units are highly versatile and cost-effective over traditional static solutions with large capital investments and diminished returns, given the quick depletion experience of traditional operations where wells are being used 3 to 4 times more active in production. It will also be the only technology and option of its kind if we move quickly. Here on the screen, you can see additional marketable benefits, which include easy deployment. Being trailer mounted, DTT is mobile and can successfully navigate most terrains. It's also a better alternative to sourcing fresh water for well completions. It enables multiple water treatment process configurations at a production site, really requires very minimal personnel to operate, and subsequently you receive a decreased fee per barrel produced basis by using DTT. An agile, streamlined solution is what's going to be most appealing to our customers. Remember, they don't make any money for producing water. As first movers of this technology, we hold a competitive advantage over our competition in that our product offers the increased benefits and pricing models against those traditional facilities. Operators are keen on reducing their cost and improving their balance sheets and cash positions. With our fee per barrel treated, Hydra will help customers realize savings upwards of 80% versus the CapEx-heavy solutions offered by our competition. The mobile trailer fits perfectly in this space, given the business model intended where operators are not punished with capital investment and are able to transfer this burden to their operational expense budgets. With already having established business relationships in Colombia, we do have considerable knowledge that will help us launch a new product in this market that could otherwise prove somewhat challenging. But no matter the history or experience, it's always wise for us in Hydra to consider and prepare for ever-evolving potential challenges and risk. Today, going into Colombia will need some insulation and effort from certain political and administrative issues. Although Colombia has demonstrated political and economic turnaround in the past 10 years, there is still ongoing political instability with leadership changes. These change-ups continue to impact the progression of policy and continuous development of the country. Violence and crime are also still very prominent, especially with local rebel forces. In addition, corruption is a major obstacle to do business in Colombia. Businesses report excessive red tape and very high tax burdens, although the government is committed and making changes to create an improved economic environment and making the country more appealing overall for FDIs. We also reviewed the Hofstede Insights to explore Colombian culture through the lens of a 6D model. We can get a good overview of the deep drivers of this culture so that we can integrate into it successfully. The two drivers we identify that we need to approach carefully are power distance and individualism. At 67, Colombia scores high on the scale of the power distance. It is a society that believes that inequalities amongst people are simply a fact of life and that it's found in all layers of society. This dynamic is also observed among business leaders and even the highest positions in government. And so all of these things must be carefully considered when approaching business relations in Colombia. At a score of 13, Colombia is amongst the lowest individualist scores and one of the most collectivist cultures in the world. Since Colombians are a highly collectivist people, belonging to an in-group and aligning yourself with that group's opinion is very important. Colombians will often go out of their way to help you if they feel there's enough attention given to developing a relationship. However, those perceived as outsiders can easily be excluded or considered as enemies. Relationships with key groups are critical to a business's ability to be successful here, and with us having already established relationships, we're not really seen as outsiders, but it will be imperative for us to continue to nurture existing relationships while developing key new ones for our continued success. We also utilize the cage distance model to verify the impacts to cultural, administrative, geographic, and economic distance challenges. Many of these, again, are already mitigated with our established presence and success here. It is vital, though, as we launch any new products, that we honor the Colombian culture and way of doing business. As we discussed earlier, Colombia is one of the most collectivist cultures, and making sure we align with the right groups will be critical to our success. Traditional hierarchies are very important, and prioritizing family over business is the norm. As we heard a little bit earlier, administrative distance in terms of political hostility and corruption are still pretty high. These can be mitigated through government partnerships and support. The geographic distance is minimal due to our familiarity. However, the lack of infrastructure and physical distance between oil fields in Colombia could make deploying our products slightly challenging, but thankfully this has been mitigated with thoughtful design improvements with our mobility and with our truck technology. The economic challenges in Colombia is that there are very highly competitive markets in regards to pricing, especially as local manufacturers and service companies offer similar or competitive products. While Hydra has been in Colombia for 80 years, we have only been in the oil field processing space for about 4. And so we will need to continue to leverage our existing relationships and footprint as we deploy our new product into Colombia. Despite the challenges and risks we discovered and described, we are confident that the benefits of moving fast with the expansion of DTT to Colombia will be another successful venture for ONG and Hydra. Our value proposition centers on our footprint, financial arms, and ability to capture global expertise in order to provide integrated solutions to our customers. Our financial position allows for capital expenditure in certain areas, which in turn lessens the burden to our customers. Our competitive advantage is providing a ready-to-market remedy for customers keen on holding onto their cash and who are tired of the same old, traditional, and expensive solutions. Our unit, the DTT, is really the best and only option for Hydra and Colombia. With your support, we propose the following steps. We would love to be first to market through our existing client and customer relations and continue to grow and expand our customer acquisition strategy, especially with those government partnerships that I had mentioned earlier. Next, we will also continue to analyze pricing models with new and existing distribution partners, being always at the ready for pricing volatility and changing competitive environments. And last but not least, we will use this entry to research feasibility of further Latin American penetration and growth. As mentioned briefly earlier, you can't make money with water in the oil business. But with DTT, we can capitalize on water, bringing more life, el agua trae vida, to our business. Thank you for your time and your consideration.